I tell you what, that week went quick. That was the fastest week ever, Marty. One day it's Saturday night, 10 p.m., and all of a sudden, hold on a minute here. What am I doing on a Monday night? It's Monday night. It's still daylight.
I know. I haven't even got any lights up. The blinds is open. The sun's actually shining. That's why I'm wearing a t-shirt and stuff tonight, because I was like, what's going on here? And this is you, Justin. This is you putting me to work. Because the other night I was blissfully ignorant of all this, and then you were like, 7 o'clock Monday, we're doing it.
I know. Well, I thought we'd go out a wee bit earlier because somebody in Belgium said they were in bed whenever our show went out at 10 p.m. And I thought, these Belgian guys, there's some nice stuff here that goes well with chocolates tonight, isn't there?
Well, they quite famously go for a nice lot of beer. And any Belgians although I will tell a story, and most Belgians I know I've ever met are quite big beer drinkers. But I was in a pub in Belgium with a couple of mates. We went down and we ordered 3 pints. They gave us the 3 beer. And then we went up to get another 3 pints. And they said, if we've run out of glasses, we have to wait for you guys to finish. Because you know the way they drink the wee cups. Oh, it's a very strange wee bar. So we had to finish our drinks and then hand them up and then get another 3 pints in them.
Bizarre. But absolutely bizarre. There's Shane Foley saying pints on a Monday. Yes.
Pint, singular. And you'll notice I am devoid of whiskey. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason why I'm not drinking whiskey. Well, not only do I not drink whiskey every night of the week, because that's really not good for you. And if you're doing that, you have a bit of an issue. But the reason I'm not having a pint is because we were down at Blake's the other night.
We were indeed. Yeah, there's Connor. There's Connor's got on touch tonight. He's on form tonight. Good evening. Yeah. Good evening. Yeah. We were down in Blake's, and it was
beautiful Enniskillen.
Yeah, it was lovely. It was lovely. We actually got a lovely day for it because it's turned for the worst today, actually, hasn't it? Did you get soaked today?
I thankfully missed it, but the rain came down in a quite authoritative manner today. And it just came straight down. There was no sideways to it, just straight down. But the sun's shining down here now. It's beautiful.
Okay. Who did we meet down in Fermanagh then, in Blake's of the Hollow?
We went down and we met a rather lovely couple called Pat and Bernie who own Blake's. Well, mostly we got talking to Bernie because Pat decided to, shall we say, subcontract the interviews and stuff, and Bernie ended up doing it. But all the better for it, Bernie. Lovely woman.
Yes, and we had some fantastic surprises, didn't we?
I did. Well, I suppose I have to clarify that. I had some lovely surprises, and you got a wee treat at the end now, I have to say.
I did. Actually, the Belgians are in tonight already. There's Eric van de Enya. I'm here, guys. The Belgian, and this hour is great. Slàinte to you all. Yes, it is. Yeah, you are here. We're doing it early, especially for you, Eric, so as you're awake. Yes, we are. We wouldn't do that to you. There's Patrick Mulcahy's in tonight as well. It's extra special this week. You're getting a double dose of us. There you go.
Yeah.
I know.
Now, what happened was we got asked to come down. We got invited to come down to Blake's of the Hollow. Now, if anyone's not aware of Blake's, it's a beautiful bar, although I have to say, wasn't looking its best whenever we were down. And the reason is...
You'll see in the video. We didn't video the bad bits because they're doing street works inside and outside, the whole lot, getting ready for a grand reopening.
Now, in case anybody's wondering, Blake's is the original part of Blake's is listed inside and out, and we'll talk about that to Bernie. But it has been renovated, and it's an all modern complex. It's all state of the art in many ways, but they're just getting it all tidied up because thank you, Allah, Buddha, God, Yahweh, whatever way you want to pronounce it, we're getting back to civilization. I was actually in a pub. Well, I wasn't in a pub because I wasn't allowed to set foot in the pub. I actually had to sit outside on Friday, freezing my you-know-whats off. This is how cold it was. I had 3 pints on Friday, right? Just because we were allowed to. I was that cold I come up and went to bed. Actually, get into bed to warm up. It was freezing cold, but I couldn't look a gift horse in the mouth and not go. So I went down, had 3 beer, and came up home. Yes, so we're getting back to civilization, and Blake's is making sure everything's spick and span. There's new tiles and stuff being laid down. There's some stuff's getting repainted and a bit of woodwork getting renovated to look immaculate for when it opens up.
Now, one thing struck me about this, because when we were doing the research for this, you actually give one of their products a 10 out of 10. Is this Bo Derrick? Is it a 10? am I Dudley Moore? I tell you,
it must be 3 years ago, 2 years ago. With COVID, it's hard to remember. They brought out a Middleton single cask, very rare single cask, and whenever I tasted it, I give it a 10 out of 10 because I thought it was about as good as Irish whiskey was going to get at the point. Out of all the Middleton range, the Middleton Very Rares and the single casks and stuff, they are premium products. They're fabulous. And it doesn't really get... when you get to a certain point, it's hard to say anything's any better than what it was. You'd be hard pushed to find an Irish spirit better than that at the time. Okay, you're going to pay a premium price for it, and there is slightly different reviews. There's different ways of reviewing things. Whenever I'm doing the YouTube reviews, if something's in and around £20 a bottle, it scores higher than something maybe at £60 a bottle that's possibly a bit nicer, but I try and factor in the cost. But back when I reviewed the Middleton Very Rare from Blake's, I had to give it sort of maximum marks because for what it is, it's pretty much flawless. It's a fabulous drop, just fabulous drop of whiskey. So, yeah.
Okay, now we have a few special announcements, but the best way to watch it is just watch the entire video here tonight. Isn't that it? Yeah, because we don't want to spoil it for people.
No, we did a podcast. I will just put in a wee caveat here, by the way. When you are watching this, we're talking. We recorded this last week. Whenever we get down, and things have probably moved on a little bit. I'm not sure just how many numbers-wise things are at now. You need to ring to check and find out. So I can't give you a guarantee that stuff. For all I know, it's all gone. I don't know, but it was done last week, and it's just you need to phone and check out.
Because basically, they were selling like hotcakes.
Yes.
And after this, they'll probably sell like even hotter cakes if there's any left.
Well, probably. But like this, it's Irish whiskey. Everyone knows Irish whiskey is hot right now, as the song goes. I'm not allowed to sing it in case we get Zuckerberg, but the stuff that they're bringing out, the single cask, bar specific, is fabulous. Obviously, I mean, it's going to be great. We know that, but they have something very, very special down there.
Okay, here we'll go. Without further ado, I'm so jealous. Watch out for my reactions, by the way, folks. Watch out for my reactions. Okay.
It's almost the same as the reaction whenever you ate my dulce that time. Do you remember the time you ate my dulce?
And we're here today to discover some really nice stuff, some of which hasn't even come out yet.
Now, the reason we're here, and we're here with Bernie Blake, proprietor of the establishment, to discuss whiskies that you can only get here or the associated off sales. Bernie, isn't that correct?
Yes, that's it, Marty. Yes, we're in the extended part of the Holloway here because of restoration work going on in the actual bar. So this bit is kind of Gothic featured bar called the Atrium to the back of the original Victorian bar.
And so the original building was built in 1887?
1887. The original bar as in the Hollow Bar, was refurbished in 1887 by Richard Herbert, the then owner of the bar. So
And it's called the Hollow because it sits in the hollow
It
in the
naturally
island.
sits in the hollow of Enniskillen. Main Street is divided into 6 or 7 different bits of streets, which causes no end of confusion for tourists coming to the area. But the hollow naturally sits in the dip of Church Street.
Yeah.
So yes, known to people far and wide just to the bar as the Hollow.
The Hollow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's on 7 levels.
Yes. Back about 22 or 3 years ago, my husband and I, Pat and I, we bought from our first cousins the bar.
Yeah.
There was a danger that the bar would go out of the family business or out of the family name, so we decided, well, we would take it on board. And at the time, we saw the potential, having visited a couple of outlets in London and across Europe, to do a kind of a multi-level, multi-entertainment bar space.
Yeah.
And we worked with Frank Ennis, who's an interior architect designer, and had great rip-roaring time tootling across the flea yards of Paris in particular, to collect all sorts of interesting bits and pieces, which were then used in really unusual ways, like the area that we're standing in here at the moment, the ceiling. The feature or the detail on the ceiling was actually replicated from a feature on the front face of an old French wardrobe.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. There's, it's a great place that when you come in and you spend time in it and you remember, the fun we had in collecting all the various bits and pieces.
I can imagine. Now you pointed out something to me as an architectural feature, little meeting points. Now this is a design. This is actually design. Just think of this, people. When you think, I met my wife in a bar. She was coming down some steps and I stopped to let her come down. That was designed. Bernie and that had it in mind. So,
purposely, Frank Ennis, as I say, who was absolutely a fantastic character, and his real skill lay in his ability to design and create spaces within very narrow, compromised buildings and spaces. This area, which essentially was the backyard to the Hollow proper, was not conducive to great big open function spaces. So within the space then, his ambition was to create meeting and greeting turning points.
Yeah.
So that if you came to a bar on your own of an evening, that you had the potential opportunity to meet somebody on little narrow staircases or passing wells, because being the gentleman, maybe, you stood back to let the lady through.
Justin would probably just barge on up, to be fair.
What
are you talking about, Marty? What are you absolutely talking about?
Yeah, I think we recognise him from being here before.
No. But it's all these little things. These details are fabulous. They really are. Now, you're getting lots of work going on in the place. Just everything being refreshed for the reopening again. Yes,
well, a couple of interesting new features. Sadly, we lost our chef restaurateur earlier during COVID, Jerry Russell, who successfully ran Cafe Merlot and restaurant number 6 here in the building. Jerry was a multi-talented, multi-awarded chef, and his reputation was well known. So sadly he passed away, and we've got a great new tenant coming in, Glenn Wheeler, who has also successfully ran restaurant 28 on Darling Street here in Enniskillen. So Glenn and his wife Zara are really enthusiastic and excited about coming to the building.
I'm sure they are.
And there is work ongoing at the moment just for them, clean sweep to put their own little trademark and identity on what is already a well-recognised space.
Well, I mean, the space is listed inside and out.
Yeah, the Hollow is listed inside and out, not this part that we're standing in the moment, because this is completely new, dug out of the ground. It runs over 7 levels, but it it's all pile. The whole building here is literally just.
They stop it doing this.
Thankfully, we don't want it doing that.
No, we
at the
don't.
moment.
We want it full of people.
Yeah, exactly. But as I say, back to our concept for the place was to create a multi-leveled environment that you could have food, drink, dancing, entertainment. And we try
and possibly meet the person,
exactly,
the lady of your dreams.
Yes, exactly. Whereas the Hollow is a unique space because it is untouched and has been untouched since 1887, except as to keep it oiled and polished and all
general
that
maintenance
part of
is what we say.
Exactly.
But no, the Hollow is a beautiful, beautiful bar. You actually have one of the Game of Thrones doors made from the dark ages.
Yes,
don't we?
There was a very exciting story before that door arrived here in Enniskillen. The joiner who was transporting the door to the bar to fit it carried it on the back of an open trailer. And on his way to Enniskillen, as you discovered today, it is quite a trek, but he lost the door in other hedges in County Fermanagh on his way to the bar, and it was only when he arrived on the street to offload his door he discovered that he'd lost it en route. So he had to retrack his steps and retrieve it from a ditch somewhere
Someone
out
could
the
have had a
road.
very lucky find there.
Winter is coming.
But now, if winter is coming, you might need something to warm you up.
Oh, there's an idea.
This is why we're here. Now, you already launched last year a Middleton single cask, and I was lucky enough to come down and taste it. And I wrote a review of it, and basically what I said was, certainly at the time, it's a fabulous whiskey. It's got a lovely sort of fresh tobacco, nice spice notes to it, lovely cask influence on it, and a really wonderful length. And I wrote at the time that it was probably as good an Irish whiskey as you were ever going to get. Mm-hmm. And it was only you could only get it from here. You still have that for sale?
Yeah, we still have a limited number of bottles left on it. There were only 180 bottles in the cask. Yeah. It was bottled at strength at 53.1, and sadly, COVID happened, and we didn't get the opportunity to continue promoting And our ambition all along is to try and give people who have had their first drink with their father or their grandfather here in the bar an opportunity to buy it ahead of the international investors. Not saying that we wouldn't like some international investors to come in.
We like international investors just because there's anybody there.
But the tradition in the bar here with people, considering it almost like an extension of their own home, it was an opportunity for them to maybe to get into it. So we weren't aggressive in our sales, and we knew that we were bringing out some of the other products afterwards, as in the Powers 19-year-old, so that we'd have something still to talk to a wider market about, having a little bit of the Middleton left over. Yeah,
that's. I don't really know what they say about it other than it is a fabulous thing. Now, price-wise, it is at a premium, but Irish whiskies are at a premium these days, folks.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it was laid down in 1991 and bottled at 26 years. Yeah. And it is, at the moment, £795.
So there you go. International investors, take note.
Yeah.
Now, these things the prices of these are just climbing at the minute, and there's lots of people to sell these things on the secondary market. Mm-hmm. So the way I look at it is, why should the people who've invested money in it to start with not reap that reward as well? Now,
well, the point that I'd like to make at that stage is that we're very true to the Hollow here, mm-hmm. and that any monies that we gather and collect from this it's going back into the bar.
When you get into, we've seen the work. There's work going on all over the place. We saw it on the way in. Justin and myself. Justin actually tried was going to start wiring plugs up and stuff, but he said no. Now, you have a couple of other product to talk about at the minute, which is this rather lovely bottle. This is the front facade of the bar. This is a Powers 19-year-old single cask release that you have. Mm-hmm. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Well, again, with the bar being the unique place that it is, Irish distillers asked, were we interested in buying into single casks, and we thought, yeah, absolutely, you know, we'd love to go along and do that. So the only cask of a 19-year-old Paris that was available was laid down in 2000, and we said yes, that we'd love to have it. And the packaging came about then because we said that we really would like to have the front of the bar, which is iconic, used for the packaging. And I have to say, in the few weeks that people have seen this, that front packaging has been a really big hit. I mean, people have identified with it the world over, and we've been getting calls from literally every corner of the globe.
Now, this has been on release for many weeks?
Well, we actually have had no formal release at all. We decided, because all of the work was going on in the bar, that we'd just try and sell a couple of bottles and see what happens.
Now, there was about 230
bottles. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 230 bottles. We'll just say for easy counting. No formal launch. How many's left, Bernie?
I'd say as of this moment where we're speaking, probably about 14 or 15.
Now, any international investors or people wanting to put stuff on collectors and market, put it on auction houses, you need to go quick. Where can they get it?
Yeah, well, at the moment, because the bar is closed, we've been selling it through our off sales in Derrylin, which is called Crushed Grape on Main Street in Derrylin. I'm there 3 days in the week. In the run up to Christmas, I'm there every day, so I need a break at this time of the year. So I do 3 days, Thursday, Friday and Saturday.
Fabulous. Now, we said we were going to get warmed up because it's a little bit cold in here.
It is cold in here. There's
and
no
what we're going to
heating.
get warmed up with is something a little bit special. You might have noticed this Pars white label here. Now, it says on this is 10 years old. There's a story behind this. Actually, it's about 15, 16-year-old what's in the bottle. But because of labelling at the time, it had to be labelled up as this. What's the story of the Pars John Lane?
John's Lane, yeah. Well, for all of you guys who know a lot more about whiskey than I do, John's Lane Distillery now is closed and has been since 1980. It was in Dublin, right down just off the Liberties. And Irish distillers closed up their distilling facility. But at the time, or before that, for the number of years before that, to distinguish white label from gold label, white label was dispatched out around the countryside in bulk. And it was then bottled by various outlets. And one of those outlets was William Blake from Anna Limited, Mahalo. So it would have come in bulk, and then it was bottled here and sold from the bar, both back bar, this is an original back bar bottle, it's a big 40-ounce bottle, and also then to the local customers in an off-sales situation. And as I said, to distinguish it from gold label, it was bottled in a white label with our information or detail on the label. So after John's Lane closed, my husband's family had the remaining stock of some of their white label and duly put it away. I mean, thank heavens, I mean, they're hoarders and in an old-fashioned sense, but at least they kept good things. And there was a great danger a few years ago when I was clearing out stores that I didn't discard this, thinking it was something that, old stuff has been hanging around there while we need to get rid of it. Exactly. So there are 160 bottles in their original bottle, and the original bottle is a 75 cl bottle. In their original closure. They have not been touched or interfered with since then at all. I mean, they're moved around and kept safely, and that's it. The Angels have got nothing out of the bottles. They're all totally intact.
Basically pristine.
Pristine. Totally.
Now, I have this in my glass.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Okay, so it's got a lovely lovely light perfumey smell, hasn't it? It's got that. It's got a nice sort of fragrant.
You would still easily recognise it.
You would
as
recognise
a
it as a
pot
pot.
still,
You would.
pot
It's got a spice, but it's a very light, almost white peppery spice. You know, it's got that sort of nice. It's just easily lifted.
I think for something, well, this bottle has been open now for a very, very long number of years. Hasn't failed anything sitting.
Again, it's that cereal note coming through. Then there's a nice touch of banana there.
Banana.
There's a nice touch of banana there. On the development, there's cinnamon coming in through, and lots of clove coming through in the back bit there too.
You're the expert on the whiskey now. I'm afraid I'll let you do the critique.
Oh, now, come on, Bernie.
I'm enjoying drinking this.
Yeah.
There's
little touches of licorice there as well. So there is. It's got that nice spice coming through. There's some tropical fruit, but it's more like a banana coming through. Maybe slightly baked banana. It's really, really, really quite nice. You can only buy this here.
Well, at the moment, people don't know about it yet, or very few people know about it. Possibly the people that I've had the opportunity to speak to while we've been talking about our Powers 19-year-old and the Middleton over the last 12 months. But really, we were waiting until we got some of these products up and running to get the bar and the fact that we are doing single casks talked about, to generate a little bit of interest across the globe, because this one has got a number of collectible features.
Lots of collectible features, let's be honest.
Exactly. I mean, it's a very, very unique product.
It is.
And it's all fully authenticated. All the certificates and everything are all in place. It's Irish distillers would love to get their hands on this.
I think Irish distillers would have been quite happy to buy this back again, I would have thought. You didn't sell it back. Now, it is for sale, and because of its collectability, it does carry a premium price.
Yeah, well, dictated to, I think, by Irish distillers, they have suggested that it should carry a price of $5,000 a bottle.
5,000 a bottle. Justin, I've got your share here, Justin. Oh, it's lovely, Justin.
It's that the collectability aspect of it. I mean, in terms of a whiskey, I know people who've tasted it, like Billy Layton, Brown Nation, and a number of the other guys who've been involved in making Middleton all really rated it. They thought it was a fantastic whiskey. And some of our local, Joe McGurr, who makes the Boatyard, who has been aging and maturing some spirit as well for whiskey, he recognised immediately its age, and he did the blind tasting. Yeah. And I was very impressed with his critique of the various products.
Well, it's nice just to taste that little bit of history. There's not very many other things you can do that with. Whiskey's one of those things that I like to say it's immortal. It doesn't go, it can't go off really if it's kept properly. And well, at a time of COVID, when plague and pestilence rages around, having something that's immortal is not a bad thing at all. Now, so we've done Middleton, Powers again, and you've decided to go away with the birds. You're going with the redbreast.
Well, we thought we'd try and complete the family, and we wanted to have something for everybody, if you like, in the group, because not everybody obviously is going to be able to afford some of these higher ticket products. So redbreast in recent years, well, Middleton in recent years has become very highly collectible. Really so we thought that we would like to do something in that. And ours being a 1991 26-year-old makes it stand out in the crowd as well. The redbreast in comparison will probably come around about 350, 60, 70 pounds. I'm not sure. It hasn't been bottled yet, so we're not sure of the exact figure where it'll finish up.
It'll be coming in a couple of months' time.
Exactly. Hopefully when the bar is up and running again, we'll have some sort of launch, and that will we'll take the opportunity then in launching it to then we thought we'd have a lot more of this left over, but clearly we won't have.
Yeah.
But it'll be an opportunity for people right across the world. Now we'll be talking about the bar, talking about the products, and hopefully we'll also, be able to buy into a little bit of Hollow history.
Yeah, I think you've got a wonderful lineup. The bar, it's not looking its best just at the minute because the work's being done. I've been here before and it is a fabulous place. It's got lots of history. It's got, a unique range of products. It's got something for everybody, food, little meeting places to meet a wee special someday, bit of Game of Thrones, a little bit of history. What's not to like? I look forward to seeing the Redbreast whenever it comes out. Bernie, it's been wonderful coming down, and thank you very much for having us down.
Oh, thank you very much, Marty. It's great, always good to see you, and hopefully we'll see lots of friends from your part of the world in Fermanagh this summer.
Hopefully. And Justin, bottoms up.
Ooh, don't, please, Justin, don't.
I could buy a boat with the money that bottle's yours going to buy.